Hey guys, and welcome to Saints TV. Round 11 is done for us. Saturday night we played at Optus Stadium against the top of the table West Coast, which is probably the most daunting match we could, I guess, be scheduled with at this point because our season's been pretty disappointing. But it's just finished. I think it was West Coast 101 to St Kilda 88, which is, I'll take that. I'm not too upset with that last 30 minutes. We kicked 7 goals to 1. I think at one point we were 49 points down, and it looked like it was going to blow out, but all day it seemed like every time West Coast got a bit of a run on, we really knuckled down and we just kept playing fast. We kept playing risky footy, which at times was frustrating because, players are kicking it into the middle, turning it over, and West Coast kick easy goals like that gaff one in the last quarter. But when it came off, we cut through West Coast, and I'm not sure many teams have kicked a higher score than we did. I'm happy for you guys to prove me wrong, but has anyone scored higher than 88 in Perth against West Coast this season? We nearly kicked 100 points. It's hard enough for us to kick 100 points and win the game, but there were so many positives to come from this. I think the main one obviously is Membry kicking 6 straight, and we've said this before that he was one of our better kicks leading into this season. He looks like he's actually changed his routine, or he's gone back to his normal routine. Not once did he slice across the ball. He kicked dead through it and through the laces, and he was back to his old self. I thought Paddy was pretty good, took some good contested marks. I thought Gresham is just all class around the goals. That goal at the end, it could have been Membry's goal, but he dribbled it and it bounced in. I thought Hunter Clark, again, was very classy around the ball, and the way he just kind of got through congestion without being tackled. And he's not a big guy, but he got through tackles. Super impressive from him. Logan Austin he took 14 marks, and that was probably it's his second game for the club, but he, obviously Kennedy kicked 6 straight, and Darling being off helped us out a lot, but I thought our backline held up pretty well despite so many fucking shit umpiring decisions. I don't want to talk too much about the umpiring decisions, but geez, they stifled our momentum so many times. The amount of times that we had a run on where we were, around the 20-point mark and we get a goal, we could be back into the game. They'd pin us for something bullshit. That Webster one where he was slung and then it was pinned holding the ball. The mark that Marshall took, but they gave it to Nat Nui. You could name so many where they took us on and we pinned them. They dropped the ball, but it was play on. It was just not consistent at all, and you do get that a lot in the interstate games, particularly when you go to Perth, and this has happened to us constantly when we've gone to Perth and play West Coast, particularly, not so much Freo, but when we go and play West Coast, they love to kill us, and I'm not sure what the free kick count was in the end, but at one point it was 21-22 to 9, so I think I've seen games where they've had over 34 free kicks, and I think someone put a stat that it was 25-12 in the end, but over the last 6 or 7 times we've played them, it's 120-40 in their favour, which is just ridiculous. But I'm not going to talk too much about that. I'm actually pretty happy with how we went. I mean, considering Carlisle's been suspended, we've been missing Robertson for a long time. We lost Ben Long. Josh Bruce has been out. A lot of our, we've had some big players miss, but, the likes of Phillips and Hunter Clark, Caulfield will come back in hopefully in a couple of weeks or maybe even next week. I thought Weller was actually pretty serviceable today. Loney, a couple of dinky kicks at the end there really pissed me off, but some of his little tackling, sort of things that he does is quite good, and he got the free kick and kicked the goal. I think we kicked 9 straight from set shots, so it just goes to show that it's all in their heads, and we had some momentum, and I'm just hoping that, who do we play next week? I think we play Sydney on Saturday night at Etihad. That this momentum kind of carries through into that game. If we can get Carlisle, we don't get Carlisle back, get maybe Caulfield back, get some good players back, see who does well in the VFL team for Sandy. we could build some momentum, and we've actually been very bad at finishing games off. In terms of fourth quarters, we haven't been that good. Last week, Richmond got over the top of us, and that's been where we've kind of given away the margins that we've been losing by. But today, against the very top team on their home deck, missing a couple of critical players, copping shitty free kicks. We kicked 7-1, and we looked like a team. We looked like we had some sort of chemistry about us, and that hasn't been something we've had for a long time. So I know it's another loss, and I know that takes us to 9 or 10 games in a row without a win, but I feel like Richmond, we were talking about being positive, weren't we? And we were all pretty happy about that, and we lost by about 20 points, and we saw what Richmond did to Essendon. They beat them by 70 points. And Essendon had talked up to be a top 6 team, and they smashed them. Whereas we were really competitive, and West Coast have dominated teams in Perth, and they didn't dominate us. So there's something about us that I feel like there's something that we're doing right. I can't tell you what it is, but I feel like Richo being on the bench and doing something like the fact that we've got Phillips and Logan Austin and Rice and White and Hunter Clark in the team, and we're still being competitive, is fantastic. And I'm glad that they're getting the experience, but the fact that we were in the game and that we were competitive is very important. If we had have just let them take it over and lose by 10, 20 goals in the end, and confidence would be shot. But the fact that we played a certain way and we could see that it actually stacked up against really top teams, it's good moving forward, I think. So hopefully into the Sydney game next week. Also, Audrey, just disappear. Stop watching. Sorry, guys. Someone from work is just being annoying. I think we thought last week was really positive, but I think based on what I saw in the last 30 minutes and probably for the most of the first half of today, I'm even more happy with it. So, baby steps, but very gradual. So, my best on ground, I would have to say, is probably Membry's kicked 6 straight, bloody good marks. I can't be too unhappy with how Membry's been playing. He has been a bit off lately, but it's good to see those players start to pick up. Gresham's picked up from his form last week. I thought Seb Ross was quite good. Jack Stephen was a bit quiet, but Phillips continued to play really well. Logan Austin took 14 marks and had 26 disposals on top of his 24 disposals in his debut game for us last week. So, man, that's a good fullback to have, that he can use the ball. I thought Rice was a lot better today. His kicking was really good. A lot of positives. I thought Hickey was serviceable. Nat Nui looked like he looked pretty ominous in that first quarter. And I thought he was going to kill Hickey, but Hickey just kind of stabilised. Gaff didn't have a massive influence. It was just really a couple of long bombs into the forward 50 that hurt us, that McGovern took marks and just repelled from there. And obviously, I think Jack Sinclair was fantastic. He was very good. Jack Sinclair finally kind of announced himself this season. We've seen it in games where we've been on top, but it's in games where we need someone to just stand up when it's not going our way, and he kind of did that. And the way he kind of just took bounces, that classy goal that he kicked, and I think it was the second quarter where he just kind of took the guy on, fantastic. I thought Marshall, it's a guy that's been playing forward, and now we've thrown him back, and he's playing on Kennedy, and he's playing on Darling, so a tough gig, but I thought he was good. I thought he took some good marks. He went to the right spots, and he always was able to, set up his teammates by foot, which was good. We used our feet more. We did handball a lot, but when we did kick it, I thought we were actually quite good, and they were low and hard kicks. It wasn't just bombing to packs, and we actually made space for each other. So, I think a lot of the things that we've complained about in the last couple of months are slowly being ironed out or just being changed, which I can see maybe leading into the Sydney game. We could be well in it. Sydney have been very good themselves, but sooner or later we're going to get something, and I feel like it's going to be in the next couple of weeks. So no doubt, very positive. I'll cut it short because I'm very tired and I think I'm a bit hungover still. But really happy with the performance. Put your comments in the feed and I'll respond afterwards. But we lost by 13 points to West Coast, who I think go back to top of the ladder. Richmond second and Melbourne third. And I think we'll stay around 16th. But we didn't play like a 16th place team today, which is what I'm happy about. And hopefully you guys are too. So I'll leave it there. Comment your best on ground and your thoughts, and I'll respond when I can. Thanks again for watching, guys. And it's actually, how good is it to not talk and complain about how shit we were? I was actually proud of everyone that set foot on the field today, and I couldn't criticise really any of them. And I was really happy with what Richo did with his matchups as well, particularly because we're missing so many critical players. And I think, can you imagine if we had Carlisle in that back line? The amount of times that I was so worried that we had Webster on Darling and Webster on Kennedy. You just knew that Carlisle being there, he would take those intercept marks, but we didn't have that luxury today. But we will at some point. So I think there's some sort of improvement there. And yeah, hopefully leading into Sydney next week, we're even more happy and we actually get on the end of a win. So I'll leave it there, guys. Thanks again for commenting. Sorry I didn't have time to go through all your comments and read them out because it's just a late game and I'm quite tired, but I'll happily comment tomorrow or maybe later tonight and chat to you guys then. Anyway, take care and see you soon.